Let's talk about these developments further with economist Jonathan Ravelas. Jonathan is a senior advisor at Reyes Tacondong and Company. Good evening once again. Welcome to the big story.
Good evening, ladies.
All right, what is your projection of fuel prices? Or your guess is as good as, I guess, other experts around the globe?
Well, I think I'd probably look at it from a scenario. So I think right now, I believe that I'm still on the option of my scenario one, which is around 50%, that this could be a contained flare up. So this could be between 2 to 6 weeks. So probably at best, we could be hitting just $90 per barrel. So again, the impact to us is definitely going to be the oil freight spike. And then, of course, the dollar volatility. And of course, there could be that inflation scare. So that is on the assumption that this is 2 to 6 weeks. No? My scenario two is around roughly 30%, which is basically the prolonged conflict. And this could last between 3 to 9 months. So definitely, we're probably going to see more mitigating measures on the part of government to probably try to contain inflation. And probably we won't see the BSP probably cutting rates anytime soon. They'll most likely be watching inflation that it doesn't go beyond 3%. So these are, I think, the two highly probable situations. The others are basically more of a mixture of probably it will be prolonged, but it won't be as what we're seeing right now, and that's roughly 15%. Still, the impact is still very similar to scenario two. I think what is my 5% is really more of seeing an immediate resolution. No? That's why it's 5%. So it is very similar to what we saw last year around June 12 to June 24, the US-Iran 12-day war. So the market reacted, and suddenly, after 12 days, market reacted. The peso weakened by more than 2 pesos. And after that conflict ended, the ceasefire, everything went back to normal.
However,
So,
the conflict, Jonathan, is larger this time and covers other
yes.
the Gulf states, for instance.
Yeah, so I guess right now the question really is how fast the GCC basically will either band together and probably try to stop Iran, or how to address this conflict. But I think for us here, the key word really is fasten our seatbelts. So it's really trying to do a lot of ways to save on energy, make sure that the supply chains are well kept so that there'll be no issue of hoarding and all, so that we can keep prices at bay, so to speak.
With the recent poor performance of the economy in the third and fourth quarter of last year, we were expecting some recovery in the first quarter. And if oil prices stay elevated, of course, that's going to have a knock-on effect on other things. How much do you think this will affect our growth as well as the inflation in the coming month?
Well, I think February inflation was 2.4. Most likely, the initial effect could probably for March, probably between 2.8 to around, probably at most 3%. But I'm projecting March to be at around 2.8%. Then definitely that will be driven by oil. One thing that we need to consider, that a 1 peso depreciation has very little transmission on inflation. So for every 1 peso depreciation, it's like 0.04%. So very little impact of the peso depreciation to inflation. So it's really more of the impact of oil prices, and then, of course, the traditional commodities like rice. But I think so far, in terms of inflation, I think it can still be contained. You have to understand, we have a band of 2 to 4%. And I think that can still, the inflation expectations are still well anchored. So you have to remember that when we started the year from a survival mode to probably more of probably normalizing spending on the part of uh, consumers, no? But this time, with this situation where we're back to survival, so people will eventually need to anchor their inflation expectations. If we see lesser impact of this crisis, meaning we're seeing less of the war, then and hopefully in 2 to 6 weeks we get to see some more of resolution, then that's actually positive for everybody.
Well, of course, we're being optimistic that we're seeing, a resolution to the conflict at most in a month or two. But should this be prolonged, then we will be in serious trouble.
Yeah, definitely the recovery will take longer. In fact, I recall mentioning that my view for the growth for 2026 was 4.7%. So it's lower than what everybody or the consensus forecast of at least 5%, and probably inflation at around close to 3%. So these are basically more of anticipated in terms of a forecast, because it takes time for the government spending to normalize. So I'm most likely expecting that the impact of what the government have highlighted of over 1.4 trillion pesos in the big bold reforms we will feel those effects probably towards the end of the second quarter. So it will take time. So of course, if we add this situation, definitely it will there will be a slight drag.
As a macroeconomist, Jonas, what are your thoughts on the proposals to, one, remove the excise tax, or two, maybe remove the VAT on oil products?
Well, ideally, I think at this point in time, the government needs revenue. So suspending the excise tax, it's really more about doing mitigating measures. And one of them probably is a portion of the income generated could be given or a subsidy given to a selected sector. No, so these are not ayudas, but you're really giving them subsidy. So when they go to a certain gasoline station, they will be written, and then they'll probably be given a discount or a subsidy of 500. So the subsidies that the government should do is something that is credited to them. It's not money given to them, so that it will really be targeted to offset the impact of transport. Maybe a subsidy on electricity for some, which the government has already started. So it's just probably trying to work on those, and probably mitigating measures that could probably be temporary, meaning it's just good for maybe 1-2 months and then it stops. Because we will just assume and probably take it one step at a time, whether to do more.
Plus,
Mainly because it
Plus, the removal of
Yeah,
the
go ahead.
excise tax benefits only a small segment of the society who can afford.
yeah, correct. So I think it's really more working on those types of subsidies. The again, the 4-day work week will probably be more of temporary, but again, given the set of technologies, we can actually try to use this type of the digital space as an opportunity to take advantage of it, so that we become more productive. So rather than being in traffic, if you are able to work in a place near your work or near your home, then definitely it makes it more palatable, especially during this 1 to 2 months, assuming that we really see that this situation could probably be more of temporary. No? But again, if it one of the things that even recently BSP Governor Remolona said, I guess the key number that we're all waiting for is an oil price above 100. Then that's something that, that already sends signals that we could probably breach the 3% in terms of inflation.
And should this tension be protracted? I'm taking, of course, the devil's advocate POV here. Should it be protracted? How much fiscal space do we have actually to play around with?
Oh, well, basically, I think as long as we see you have to understand that the economy is still growing. It's just that it's not growing at a speed that we wanted, which is 5 to 6%. 4.4% is least ideal, but the economy is growing. So as long as we restore that growth closer to 5%, then definitely we still have space to move. I think what we need to be able to do is look at productive measures so that we're able to grow the economy. No? So again, one of the other things that we can do in the meantime is really work on trying to make sure that our food security is there, because that's another thing to consider. So if we look at productive measures so that instead of importing them, we're able to rely on our domestic, then that should be good. At the same time, work on factors to ensure that we have ample supply of gasoline, no? And power, especially during the summer season, so that there's no interruption in the potential recovery of the economy.
All right, we thank you so much for your insights. That was economist Jonathan Ravelas joining us.